Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
All right, so our speaker tonight is a gentleman who I met about almost 2 years ago. When I was in treatment at the Salvation Army, he would come in there, sponsor other addicts and alcoholics, and bring meetings into there. This is a gentleman who, through over my last 2 years of sobriety, has been a mentor, a friend of mine, someone that I could reach out to when I was going through things. If you guys don't know him, I suggest you do. I welcome Paul McKinney.
Thanks, brother. Check.
Call Paul.
That's me. How's everybody doing tonight? Good Lord. Come on, Donnie. Big shout out to Donnie back in the booth. Donnie. So my name's Paul, and tonight is Newcomers Night. It's a new segment that we're going to start trying to do to encourage people new to recovery to come up and get comfortable being on stage, talking to people about recovery. So that's what we're going to do tonight. But we do have a topic, and tonight's topic is talking about self-love and loving yourself. You're going to get a version of me that I don't typically bring out in when I speak. You can call me Pastor Paul tonight if you want to. At least that's what Beth was calling me earlier, Pastor Paul. I don't typically try to avoid my spiritual upbringing. Like, I'm an unapologetic Christian, so I just want to start there by saying that. But when I first came into the rooms of recovery, I was just really uncertain what this was. I don't know if anybody can relate to that. I knew it was the right thing for me to be doing. I knew that I needed help. I knew that I needed to try something different. I understood that up until that point, my best thinking led me into a recovery home. It led me to jail. It led me to overdose. So I knew I just had to change something about myself. I want to say I was probably a couple months removed from jail, maybe a total of 6-7 months sober. And I had a roommate. His name was Tell. Anybody here know Tell? I remember him. Lonnie has. I don't know where Tell is today, but he said something to me that changed the way I looked at life. He was my roommate, and I'm sitting in the room, and each week I would try to focus on something different in recovery. And this one week, I just couldn't think of anything. In previous weeks, I tried to focus on having serenity, or I would focus on being disciplined. And I'm talking to Tell, and I'm telling him, like, I just don't know what to work on this week. And he says, "Do you love yourself?" And I was like, without missing a beat, I was like, "No, heck no." And it was one of the most transparent, honest feelings I'd ever have. Like, no, I don't love myself. And he looked at me and he goes, "That's a problem." It's like, you have to learn to love that guy you see in the mirror. The things that I did in my past were never going to change, right? The time I spent in jail, that wasn't going to change. The people that I had ripped off, lied to, hurt, that was never going to change. And I had to be okay loving the guy that did that. So, as you see up here, I put the Song of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 7. It says, "You are altogether beautiful, my love. There is no flaw in you." And it's important to understand that when we can accept who we are for what we are and for what we've done, it's easier to move forward. Because the truth is that guy that I seen in the mirror made it to this point. You know, the things and decisions, and no matter how bad they were, I had to learn to be thankful for where I am today. It led me to this point. You know, I don't want to take up too much time talking about self-love, but if you don't love yourself, how are you going to be able to love someone else? How are you ever going to be able to help someone else if you can't first love the person you see in the mirror? And so that's such a vital point. So anyone here tonight that's new to recovery, maybe you're within your first year or whatever you're experiencing, I challenge you to take time to be okay with the person you are today. If you're here and you're sober, whether it's one day, whether it's 365 days, whatever it is, this version of you is 10 times better than the version of you when you were using, drinking, stealing, robbing, lying. It's very important that you accept that. For me, I was in such denial, I couldn't look at myself and get comfortable with that person. But today, that has all changed. And because I've been able to change that about how I view myself, I've been able to move forward and strive to help others. The next question I put up here is, do you have respect for yourself? And I put this image of bleed with dignity. Man, I wish I could see that TV back there. The definition of dignity is the right of a person to be valued and respected for their own sake and to be treated ethically. You know, respecting yourself enough to know that in the right moment you're going to make the right decision is important. It's extremely hard to trust anybody. You know, the Bible tells us to put our not put our trust in man, but to put our trust in God. But in daily warfare in this world, affirmation comes when you are being tempted. That's proof positive that whatever you're doing in life must be right, or the devil wouldn't be trying so hard to get you. So dignity starts with being able to walk through every situation with respect. Even when it's bad, when you want to get angry and you want to get mad and you want to blow up on someone, walk through that with dignity. Be the bigger person. When life hits you and it's time to grieve, grieve with dignity. Be willing to observe and look far enough in the future to know that when you look back at that moment, there's nothing you regret about it. You know, a good example of that is there's been times in my life where I got really angry and, you know, maybe I punched some things I shouldn't have punched, or I made some damages, or I said some things I shouldn't have said and intentionally tried to hurt someone's feelings. But this today, I tried to take a deep breath and I try to think clearly with dignity in mind. So Proverbs 31:25 says, strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laughs at the time to come. You know, this is a very monumental chapter in the Old Testament where it talks about, you know, a righteous woman. And for me, when I was growing up, I grew up with my grandmother raising me, you know, and I always really looked up to her, and it was so inspired by the sacrifices that she would make in her life just to make sure I had what I needed. And dignity was a big part of that. It didn't matter who was right, it didn't matter who was wrong. It's that we did it the right way, the best we could, with respect, love, and patience for another person. But it starts with being like that for yourself and understanding that you have to take care of yourself. Do you deserve it? A lot of times we feel like we don't deserve love and we don't deserve these great blessings that recovery gets us. One of my favorite sayings I heard was at the gratitude dinner, real early in recovery. Me and Andrew cleaned up real nice and went to this gratitude dinner. I think someone bought us like what $25 tickets to go eat a bunch of food. And at the time, it was just a festivity. But there was this moment where I guess they had the guy that had the most recovery in the room get up to make a speech. You remember his name? Bob? Yeah. He was old as dirt. I mean, he had to get his chip from Mr. Bill himself. I mean, it was wild. But he got up. He didn't say much at all. He said a couple of sentences, but I'll never forget. He says, "Don't let the gifts of recovery be the thing that take you out of recovery. Don't let the new car, the new job, the new friends, the great feelings be the thing that take you out, because that's usually how it happens." Yeah. I can't tell you how many men and women I see go and finally get a job and get that first check and they're off to the races. That gift of recovery took them out. I can't tell you how many people finally get their own place, get a car, get their own things, and they forget about those meetings they've been attending. And before you know it, they're either dead, in jail, or I see them back at the Salvation Army. You know, it's being aware that we deserve this, but we have to consistently work for it. You know, in the Bible, it talks about the remission of sins. Now, I don't want to go into a Pastor Joe theological sense. I just want to key in on that word remission. Because in my lifetime, remission always referred to cancer. When cancer goes in remission, it's a great thing. But there's one thing to remember about cancer that's in remission. It can always come back. If you don't daily work and treat that thing and live your best life and healthy and avoid all of those cancer causing things in life, it will come back. And that's just like addiction. Addiction will come back using the thoughts, all of the bad things around addiction or alcoholism. It will come back if you don't steadily work on it and treat it. So don't let the gifts of recovery be the thing that takes you out. I put up here 2 paths, and I heard a guy talk about this, and I just want to share his vision. It made so much sense to me. You know, recovery is like driving down a road, and it's not easy. It's not always fun. It's like being in traffic sometimes, and then it slows down, and then that addiction path is over in really close view. And there's all these loop-de-loops, and everybody's having a good old time. I can tell you, when I was using drugs, I had fun. I had fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed going to the bar. I enjoyed all of those things. But the truth is, I know how that path ends. I know how that road ends. You see, the road of recovery, it's a long road, and it gets easier. It gets wider. The traffic, the obstacles, I learned how to slow down and drive around them. But that road over there of addiction ends one way and one way only. And it's about 2 miles long and straight into a brick wall. It's fun for a moment, but it ends the same way every time. If you're here wondering if you deserve this, understand that you do. Sometimes I feel like I don't deserve all these great blessings that have been put in my life because I just decided to stay sober and work a program. And a lot of times I remember, even today, it's hard for me to visualize it getting better because I don't know what that looks like. Matter of fact, when I first came into recovery, I had this weird vision that within 6 months I'd be traveling around the world. And God changed my changed my plans real quick with a beautiful daughter. But even then, I couldn't see how great my life would become if I could just keep doing these things. You know, it's important to understand that no matter what it may look like life's going to be today, you keep doing this and the untold gifts of God will be rained on you like you can't believe. And that's truth. I'm not making these things up. Raise your hand here if you've got a year of sobriety. At least. I can guarantee you each one of these individuals, if they're steadily working a program and they can't, the comparison from when they walked in, when Joel rode in on that little girl's bicycle to now driving the Batmobile, the life changes for people in ways you would never imagine it, but it only takes and requires one thing. It's to wake up and make it back to your pillow without drinking or using any substance. If you can make that your goal every day and you can achieve that every single day, life will get better in some measure or another. So tonight I want you all to know that you're enough. You're enough. You don't have to be good enough for anybody but you. If you can be good enough for you, then the rest is just toppings on the ice cream sundae. It's extra. I want to, before I go and bring up our panel tonight, I want to, I put this little note at the bottom that says, be reminded. Sometimes I forget, and many of us forget that we are enough. You know, the last month of my life has been hell. For those that know anything about what's going on in my life, it hasn't been easy. It's been tough. But I've been reminded several times of why these rooms are so important. The support group that I've had around me, the people that have called and checked up on me and told me they loved me and supported me through this. I mean, hell, Nolan brought fried chicken to my house. Just showed up unannounced, brought me fried chicken and sweet tea. You know, I cry my eyes out to the people that have loved me at my worst, that have loved me when life was hard, and have been there for me. But when I say be reminded, I want to remind you all of how I know that me going through something, while going through a lot of the things I've went through, I never once thought about using. I never once thought about drinking. I never once thought about giving up. I understood that the world kept spinning, and there were still people out there that needed help. I shared this at Monday Night Men's about a month ago. They asked me to share my story, and if you guys have been here for any length of time, you know that I'm sick of telling my story at this stage. But while I was going through this part of my life, I got up one morning, and for those that don't know, I have a 20-month-old daughter named Charlotte, and every morning I get up, and she's usually like eating her breakfast, you know, watching Lilo and Stitch, and I always just go in there and give her a kiss and tell her I love her, goodbye, have a good day. And this one morning I go in there and I kiss her, and she's like, bye, Dad. And I walk to go to the front door, and all of a sudden, something different happened. I heard these little feet, you know, pit, as fast as they can go. And this was different. She had never chased me out the house before. And I go to turn around, and before I can turn around, I mean like a linebacker, this kid plows into my leg and wraps her arms around my calf muscles, and she's never done this before. And I look down, and she looks up, and she goes, "Don't go." And I'd never even heard those two words together. But what she was saying was, to me in that moment, was, "Don't go, I need you. Don't go, I want you to be here. Don't go, I love you." She was telling me that I'm enough, you know, and as I sit here tonight and understanding that this world keeps spinning, I'm reminded that nothing is worth going back to using and drinking again. Amen. Thank you. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. So tonight, with all that being said, I want you all to know that if you're here and you're new to this program, if you're new to recovery, I just want you to know one thing. It keeps getting better. If you're in your first few days and it's been really, really tough, really, really tough, and you feel like running away, it gets better. It gets easier. If you want to move houses, if you're wanting to give up and just go back to the woods or go back to the lifestyle you have, just give it another day. And tomorrow when it gets hard, give it one more day after that. And when you're laying in bed and you hear Sal in there picking some crazy thing on his guitar, just try to drown him out. When you come to these meetings and you think, man, I just can't wait for this to be over, just give it one more day. No matter what obstacles come in, nothing is worth throwing all this away to go back through the hell that we just came from. And I promise you that. All right, so tonight we're going to have our panel come up. Tonight we're having a wonderful, wonderful panel. We have got Miss Becca. Where is he? Oh, Vinny. I know he's right. Where's Angel? Oh, there he is. Come on, Angel. And most importantly, Miss Lisa Rhodes. All right, let me check the time. Oh, we're good. I'm fixing to grill you guys.
No, you missed them 3 candles.
Huh?
You missed that 3-wood candle.
What's he talking about? Someone drug test him. So tonight, like I said, this is Newcomers night. And what I really want to convey here is I know that these 4 people, just from my personal observation and the observation of many other people, are killing it in recovery. And if anyone understands how growth and recovery works, it's important to build an army of people that are willing to go and talk to other addicts and alcoholics to help them. And sometimes your first meeting to speak at might be 115 people, or it may be 3. So tonight I really want to take the time to get to know each one of you and ask you a few questions about yourself and how recovery has been. So first we'll start with Rebecca.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. My clean date is February 2nd of 2025.
Yeah.
My name is Vincent. My sober date is 12/24/24.
My name is Angel. I'm 26 days clean today.
I'm Lisa, and my clean date is February 5th, 2024. 2025.
All right, so I have a couple of questions, and first one we'll start with Vinny. For those that know or don't know Vinny, I want to forget this. When Vinny come in, there was kind of like this warning, like he's an angry drunk, and there was
Not that angry.
But Vinny, when you first came into the houses, like what was your mentality? Like what was your mindset of what you thought this was going to be like and how you were going to handle it?
Honestly, I had no idea. This is the first time I've ever been in a sober house. This is the longest time I've ever been sober, 6 months. I was just taking it with open arms, one day at a time. Paul and John were the first guys I met. They were super cool and nice to me. And they told me the simple rules, mandatory meetings, finding a sponsor, and going to meetings. And I'm like, cool, that sounds easy enough. I can get along with 10 guys. There's 10 guys living in the house. It's not that bad, but yeah, I had no idea, but I definitely gave it the chance, and it's pretty cool. I've never would have thought of myself being sober, or that I really have the attention, but it grew on me pretty quick, and I found a sponsor, found a home group, and now I'm 6 months clean, and now I can't wait for my 1 year sober,
Kill it. For Becca, I was going to, for those that don't know, I've known Becca for, I don't know, I guess almost 3 years now, maybe, a little bit longer than that. Becca's one of the few people, maybe outside of Kelly, that knew me and and Terry. Terry definitely knew me and my addiction. And so we got to a point here at Project Exodus where we had the ability and the willingness to go back to Kissimmee. And I want to say Becca was one of the first people. Were you the first one? Yeah. So
Yes.
how was that transition of going from the environment that you were in, and you can elaborate on that as much as you'd like to. What was that transition like? And how has it changed from what you originally thought it would look like?
Well, the transition is like night and day. I was homeless in the woods of Kissimmee for 8 years, not living my best life. I was in a really rough place, and every day it got worse and worse. And I always joked around saying the only time I would get sober is if I go to jail. So in a sense, I manifested it, because February 2nd, my clean date, I went to jail, and it was the best day that I had in those past 8 years. It was rough for me, but I knew what was coming, the whole detoxing part of it. But I was ready. I was ready for so long. I knew being in jail was my saving grace. And I remember I was in the detox cell for 16 days. They had me. I went to the hospital. I had a seizure. And they sent me back, and they held me for 24 hours afterward just to make sure I was okay. But I remember when I got back, I dropped to my knees and I just surrendered. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was in so much pain. I was suffering. not only putting myself through it, but my family. They were worried about me every day, you know, not knowing if I was alive or dead, you know, just waiting on that phone call. But while I was in jail, we have tablets in there, which is pretty cool. I get a message from Paul, and I haven't talked to him in like 3 years. So just to see his name pop up on there, like, I started crying. I was like, why, like, how did he know? Like, it was crazy. So he explained to me like what he had down here going on, and I was just like, yes, no hesitation, just yes. So when I came down here, I walked into the house after the new family house was open, and I was with the willingness behind like everything. Like I was ready for whatever it was gonna throw at me. The day that I got here, or was it the night or the next day, I got a sponsor. I got a job, all within a week time span. And ever since then, like, all the doors that have been closed for 8 years have opened. And everything is just going amazing. I couldn't ask for more. Like, I'm truly blessed to be here and a part of Project Exodus.
Thank you, Becca. Angel. No, you do it. So I want to just clarify how the recruiting process, if you will, for the Kissimmee people works. It's real simple. This is our cheat sheet. So for any competitor out there listening, I'll give you a little bit of a heads up. Every day for 3 years, like an obsessive lunatic, I would check the Osceola County Jail arrest report. And anytime at some point, anytime I recognized someone that I used to live in the woods with, I would message them. And there had been a couple of people I'd messaged that just didn't take the bait. But Becca was the first one. And I always had the same, hey, this is me, this is so-and-so. I remember I messaged Miami when he was in there, and he was just like junkie stunting me right out the gate, like, hey, can you give my girl some cigarettes and she'll pick you up? He didn't realize who I was. And but what I wanted to clarify on that is, that isn't me. That is God. I firmly believe God works through us to help others. And so when I seen Becca had been arrested, I was thanking God. When I seen Terry in there, I was thanking God. When I seen, these people that I knew that I could reach them because I had been where they were. And it's worked flawlessly. One thing I want to point out is I want everyone to pay attention to their stories and how their successes happen. When they say they got a sponsor and then they got a job. They started working the steps and working this program, and then life got better. So many times people come here and they want to get the job first, and they want to, get the bicycle or the car first, or the girl first, or the guy first. And none of it works if you don't do it in this particular order. Get here, get a sponsor. If you're here tonight, you're in Project Exodus, and you don't have a home group and a sponsor, you're not going to make it. Well, you do. I can promise you. So, that being said, our newbie up here, Mr. Angel, how many days you been here?
I've been here 26 days.
How has it been in these first 26 days? What does recovery look like?
So, I came here sick as a dog. I did detox basically in the house. I did go to a detox, and then after 3 days they kicked me out because I didn't have any symptoms. and then literally the next day, then everything just hit me, and I'm freaking taking 12 showers a day, freaking sleeping in the bathtub. I was going through it, I was using a lot of fentanyl and cocaine, and you know, and shout out to the house, Robinson House, for you guys dealing with me. You know what I mean? I love you guys. Shout out to my Kissimmee family too. I love you guys. I got a lot of support. But one day, Paul came over to our house and he sat us all down, and you know, my whole life I just been on the run, but not from like basically from myself, you know. That you were talking about looking in the mirror and stuff like that, introspection, you know. I do that daily, you know, and I love who I'm becoming today. So I took upon the suggestions that Paul had given me. Find a sponsor, find a home group, and everything else is gonna come. And I did exactly what he told me to do. And right now I'm grinding. I'm like on full mode. Like you can't stop me. Like, you know, my recovery is me first, me second, me third. And I'm paying rent every day for my recovery. Every day rent is due for recovery, you know? And I can't do it without God. Um, like I'm mending broken ties with my family. I call my mom like 20 times a day. It's the best advice I can get. You know what I mean? For God, nobody's gonna love me like my mom. You know what I mean? So if I would have listened to her my whole life, I'd probably be successful. You know what I mean? But so be it. It is what it is. But today it's what I'm doing now. You know, I took advice from Joel, from you, from Andrew. I'm just trying to outwork everybody right now.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just focused. Like I'm ready. Like, to- I love who I see in the mirror every day. You
Perfect.
know what I mean? And I definitely do love myself. You know, like, what's so funny? But I feel good, and I'm glad to be here, and I love all of y'all.
Thanks. So this is humbling for me. Lisa, when she came here, we had took a trip to Kissimmee and we picked up what, 4 people, 5 people. We got Marcus, Sam, my. We didn't get you that day. We got who was Wendy, and then who else?
No, Whitney wasn't with us that day.
Who did we get?
It was me, Marcus, Sam, and Billy. The 4 of us.
Oh yeah, Bill. There he is. Um, I don't really get surprised. A lot of times when people come into recovery, like you can just tell right away who wants it, right? Some people are skeptical. There's a lot of trauma and things that we've suppressed in our addiction that, it just takes time to get over it. Not Lisa. Um, just from the moment Lisa stepped into the car, I knew right then, I was like, this girl wants it. And within a day, maybe 2, we're at church. She's got a sponsor. She's, just, she inspires me just through, without saying a word. I've really enjoyed watching you become yourself again and take your life back. And so I wanted to ask you, since getting here, what has this experience been like? And what would you say to someone that maybe just started their journey, as words of encouragement to them?
Well, for me, it wasn't a hard road because I wanted
Hold the
this.
mic.
It wasn't a hard road for me because I wanted it. And I put my all into it because this is what I wanted. I can't go back. I won't go back. I'm only looking forward. I'm not looking back at the past. I don't care what happened back then. It's what's happening now. That's what's important to me. So for anybody new that wants to get it right, stay focused, find a sponsor, and then start looking for a job. Start coming to meetings. Find yourself a home group like Paul said, because that's very important. In your recovery. I mean, people, places, and things will always bring you back to what you were doing, but if you find different things to do outside of that, outside of your comfort zone, then you'll be fine. You know what I mean? But you gotta want it. You gotta want it.
Yeah,
And for me, that's what I wanted. You know, I don't live in the past. I live for the future. Because I got so much more ahead of me.
that's right.
God's gonna do amazing things in my life, and I
Amen.
know this. So I'm ready for it. You know what I mean? And so my suggestion to anybody else is, if you don't have God in your life, find Him. He's not hard. It's not hard to find. You know. Um, So that's all I got.
Thank you, Lisa. So, real quick, I just want to take a moment to let you all know, like there's very little that goes into relapse. It's very little. As a lot of people say, that's like as soon as my mind's made up, I'm gone. But it takes a lot to stay. It takes a lot to stay here and work through these things. It requires us to put our pride and ego aside and stop thinking we know everything. It requires us not just to surrender, but accept that this is the only way. This is it. It works for so many people. You know, I don't know how many have went through the steps or going through the steps. So spoiler alert, it's a spiritual program. Spoiler alert, there's a higher power involved. And I encourage you to get to know that person, whoever it may be for you, whoever it may be, but surrender and understand that we are no longer the center of the universe. Our life revolves around our higher power and what they want for us. And to me, that is the biggest obstacle for most people. When I first came into recovery, I had a very muddy relationship with my higher power. I used to think God was this angry old man that no matter what good I did, there was always something wrong I was doing. And it took another alcoholic to remind me that he's a loving father that wants what's best for us. And I encourage you that if you don't have a higher power, in recovery, they say find somebody that has what you want. Well, when you find that person, ask them who their higher power is. And for me, I understood that was more important than what drugs and alcohol they did. How much I could relate to them, it was really about how I could relate to them spiritually. Because not only did I have to trust this man, I also had to be willing to get down on one knee and pray with this man. I also had to be willing to know that when he prayed for me, that someone was listening. And so I encourage you tonight, if you don't have a sponsor, if you don't have a home group, make that your priority. We say this all the time. Maybe Joel doesn't say this as much. I don't care about you paying your rent as much as I care about you having a home group and sponsor. Because I know if you have those things, the rent, the bills, the curfew, the bed being made, all that stuff is going to take care of itself. And these four fine individuals here tonight are perfect examples of that. So if you would, give them a big round of applause. So we've got about 10, 15 minutes before we move on. We're going to do wristbands tonight. Does anybody know that? But we want to open it up to the audience for any questions, comments. I'm sure Sal's going to get up and give us some big philosophical speech. I'm just kidding, Sal. We love you. Do it. Yeah, Chanel.
Hi, I'm Chanel. I'm a grateful recovering addict and believer in Jesus Christ. First of all, I just want to say, Becca, you're doing an amazing job. So I'm really proud of you, and I'm grateful that I know you and that we're Team House Lead together. I wouldn't have rather gone anyone else. Benny, I just want to thank you because you've been like a brother to Zach and myself. So, and I love you and both of y'all. And Lisa, I'm sorry, I don't know you, Angel, but
You will.
Lisa, you inspire me. You inspire me like every day because we clicked on losing our son, and you've lost two, and I can't imagine what that's like, and I never want to find out. But you inspire me a lot. So the fact that you can get up here every day and do the thing, then I know that I can, and I look up to you a lot. So I love you. That's it.
Thank you, Chanel.
Oh, and we are part of the greatest recovery family in the world. I'm just saying that.
Thank you.
I could talk for hours.
I bet.
Give me this.
Yeah, you lock her up for a week and she doesn't. A month. We're glad you're back, Chanel. Oh, here we go.
My name's Beth. I'm an addict. Oh my God.
Hey, Beth.
I just want to give a special shout out to my girl Lisa because Lisa's been in my house since day one. And I was just gonna echo Paul's sentiments about like right off the bat, she kind of got involved and she like shared her story at Grace Life. Like she was literally in Sarasota for like 4 days.
Wow.
Had been in the woods like 42 days ago, living in a tent, and then like 42 days later, she's sharing her story at Grace Life Church. You know, it was amazing. But I was also sitting over at Angela's house last night and we were talking about you, Lisa. And I was just telling Angela how I've seen this like complete, like your demeanor has totally changed like over the past couple of months that you've been in the house. And I think that's a testament to the program of recovery, but also that you're working, but also God working in your life. You know, like I don't live in a recovery house expecting to be best friends with everyone, but you know, I do like to check in and talk to people and have a conversation every once in a while. And like that has been happening more recently for us. And I love our little check-ins. And Lisa's the best cook in the room, you guys. And she makes me a plate all the time. She's so cute. I just love having you in the house. And like you're just such a blessing to us there. Um, Also, I just want to give a special shout out to Becca because I just remember when you first came in, you were just like this quiet little shy little thing. Like you just you know, you were just inside of a little shell and like being here has helped you break out of that. And it's been a beautiful thing to watch. And Vinny helped me pick up our freezer one time. So thanks, Vinny. And Angel, I don't know you well, but I know who you are because you're always popping in the Discord. And I think that's important, right? I think that's important, right? Because when people know who we are, like we get to know people and they know to check in on us if they don't see us anymore, right? If we're just quiet all the time and we kind of hide in the background, like nobody gets to know us, right? And that's one of the most dangerous things in recovery is for no one to know who we are, right? Because that intimacy, the healing comes from like being seen by another person and accepted as exactly who and what we are in that moment, but also being encouraged to be better. So I wish you guys all luck on the rest of your recovery journeys. I can't wait to see what you do with it. Love you guys.
Over here.
My name's Robert. I'm an addict,
Hey, Robert.
alcoholic, everything addicted to more. I just wanted to thank you, Paul. Awesome topic tonight, self-love. You know, it was really hard to be proud or love myself when I was on the street. And the only way I knew how to do that was to numb myself and feel nothing. But just a couple days ago, I hit 17 months clean, and it all started. It all started in the Salvation Army in the Viper program and VIP. Cough, cough. And we had the Project Exodus meeting on Friday night. I saw Paul come in with a couple other. Didn't you come in with Kelly one time? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were like Purpose House, Purpose House. Well, I went to Purpose House, but now I'm at Exodus. But it was those little meetings where like you showed that you actually genuinely cared about us, you know, that made me want to start taking better care of myself. And I thank you for that. And it's just one day at a time. Just as long as I don't use and I go to bed sober, I win. And shout out to Vinny. You're the house lead at my house over here. But I appreciate you guys. And if anyone hasn't told you, I love and I'm proud of you.
Here we go.
Keep this over here. I'm loud. First of all, this is surreal to me. A year ago, I would have never imagined looking at all of you up there. It's the most beautiful thing I think I could see. Angel, I know you very well.
What?
Not that well.
Yeah, I got you.
And, you know, I've seen you grow in just a short time you've been here. I think that all of us I think a lot of us were ready. We just really needed a chance, and I thank God and everyone here for giving us that. I mean, we were pretty bad off. And to look at you guys now and see you up there, I mean, it's beautiful. I love y'all. You know that. Especially you, Becca.
All
You
right.
guys are great.
Thank you, Kelly. We got we got time for Nikki. Oh, you got time? Dang, I knew this was coming.
So, I just want to start off by saying, I know that you just got here, Angel, but I see that you're grinding, right? I see you at all different types of meetings, Celebrate Recovery here. You're doing it, right? As well goes for all of you, Lisa. I see you absolutely everywhere. I see you walking to get there. I see you grinding. I've never once ever heard you ask for a ride anywhere. You've been doing what you've got to do. You know what I mean? Beck, all of you guys, Becca, you've been grinding from somebody to say like here so soon to like to where you're at today. You're not the same person, right? And when I was house lead at East Mark, Vinny was my roommate, and I just see such growth in all of you so far. A little bit, I haven't known you that long, Angel, but I've seen growth in all of you, and I respect you guys and I love you. So.
Oh, we got time for one more. I ain't gonna tell Nikki no. I don't got a death wish.
You don't want no problems. My name is Nikki, and well, I see everybody in the groups. I live with Lisa, and it's good to see everybody. Coming into this new, I'm still new, and being able to embrace the recovery life. Lisa, I appreciate you because from the day you came in the house, we meshed. You know what I'm saying? Like you, my girl. I The topic of loving yourself, I just want to say like it's been a trying time for me. I've been dealing with a lot, medical issues, my mental health. Um, Monday I lost my sister. She died from a blood clot busting her brain, and she went into a coma and didn't come out. But the ladies at my house have been so supportive, and I'm glad that I do have a new set of sisters, a new family. I have no family here, and I appreciate everybody at Project Exodus and in the rooms. It's been real emotional. It's just been a lot, but I know that I love myself enough that like using has not been an option or even a thought. You know what I'm saying? I would not get this up for anything. So thank all of you all for like being my backbone and holding me up at a time where it's not so easy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So,
I just want to say something really quick. Hey, I'm Angela. I'm an addict. It's going to
Hey,
be really
Angela.
quick. So, the newcomer is the most important person, right? And I learn stuff from you guys all the time. And I love being in recovery. I love doing what I do because I get to see people grow and I get to see people just go from their rock bottom, whatever that may be, and just keep rising. And just like Paul said earlier, like it gets better. Just keep doing what you're doing. I'm really proud of you guys.
Real quick, because I know Paul's trying to get out of here.
What? I've got nowhere to be.
I just wanted to say I mean, I've been there for day one for all four of you guys. And it's just, I have goosebumps right now. It just warms my heart to see how far you've come. A lot of times when people are new in recovery, it's like, what are they going to do? Are they going to get it? And you guys are just killing it. And I'm proud to call you guys my friends, and I can't wait to see where you guys go from here.
Okay. So let's give one more time to Becca, Vinny, Angel, and Lisa. Give them a big round of applause. All right. So we got a special way of ending this meeting. What do? Y'all have a great night.
Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on a tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. dragonfly out in the sun. You know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun. You know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done. That's what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world.